very good and warm morning to everyone assembled over here. PS College of Engineering, an autonomous institute since 2008 under VTU Belagavi, the subsidiary of People's Education Trust Mandya, which was established in the year 1962 under the guidance and leadership of Nitya Sachiva K.V. Shankaragowda. The vision of K.V. Shankaragowda was to provide quality technical education to the rural population of Mandya, which was later led by Kayakayogi Dr. H.D. Chaudhaya for over 3 decades, and now pioneered by the young and energetic leader Sri K.S. Vijay Anand, with great vision and passion towards supporting the young minds by nurturing their passion. As a result, now PSC is standing at 137 NIRF ranking and all departments being accredited by NBA and NAC. It is our privilege to host the 4th International Conference on Emerging Research in Electronics, Computer Science and Technology, ICERECT 2022, technically co-sponsored by IEEE Bangalore section and financially sponsored by AICTE New Delhi. Myself, Skanda, student chairperson of IEEE PSC student branch, will be your host for the day. A day without prayer is a day without blessing, and a life without prayer is a life without power. So we seek the blessings of the Almighty through invocation. Now may I request Mahima Bhatt, student vice chairperson of IEEE PSC student branch, to invoke the blessings for the occasion. I request Mahima to invoke. Thank you, Mahima, for giving us the perfect start for this international conference. Now I request Dr. M.J. Anand, Head of the Department of Electronics and Communication, and the Organizing Chair for ICERECT 2022 to welcome the gathering.
Good morning, all. Myself, Dr. M.J. Anand, Head of the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, feel extremely glad to welcome each and everyone present here and those who have joined virtually to the inaugural function of 4th International Conference on Emerging Research in Electronics, Computer Science and Technology, Icerect 2022, sponsored by AICTE New Delhi and IEEE Bangalore section. It gives me a great pleasure to extend my warm welcome to Dr. Subhash Chandra Mukhopadhyaya, Fellow IEEE, Professor of Mechanical and Electrical Engineering, Macquarie University, New South Wales, Australia, who is here to inaugurate the Icerect 22 and present a keynote address to researcher. In spite of his busy schedule, he made all his way from Australia to be a part of Icerect 22. I take this privilege to heartily welcome you, sir, personally on behalf of Icerect 22 team. I extremely overwhelmed to welcome Dr. Emmanuel S. Grant, Associate Professor, Associate Director of SEECS, College of Engineering and Mining, University of North Dakota, USA, who is supposed to be here due to his busy schedule. He has joined us virtually. I take this opportunity to welcome you, sir. I feel extremely glad to welcome Dr. Satish Kumar Vedoja, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, Uttarakhand. Due to his emergency work, he could not present physically and joined us virtually for inaugural and will also present keynote address tomorrow. I take this privilege to welcome you personally and on behalf of Icerect 22 team. The Icerect 22 is technically co-sponsored by IEEE Bangalore section, who have provided a constant support throughout the journey of Icerect 22. Now, I am glad to welcome Dr. P. Deepashanai, Chair, IEEE Bangalore section, Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, University of Visvesvaraya College of Engineering, Bangalore, who also joined us virtually. I heartily welcome you, madam. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome Dr. Parameshwarachari, PD, Chair, IEEE Mysore Subsection, Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, ITEM, Meenakshi, Institute of Technology, Bangalore, who is also our guest of honor. I take this opportunity to welcome you personally on behalf of IEEE. Since the beginning journey of Icerect 22, it is who stood behind us as a backbone in all perspective is none other than a grandson of K.V. Shankaregowda and young and energetic Sri K.S. Vijayananda, Chairman, People's Education Trust, Mandya, who is also a chief patron of Icerect 22. I am extremely overwhelmed to welcome you, sir, personally and on behalf of Icerect 22 team. Now I take this opportunity to welcome Sri S.L. Shivaprasad, Secretary, People's Education Trust, Mandya, and who is also a patron of Icerect 22, who supported throughout the journey of Icerect 22. I take this privilege to welcome you, sir, personally on behalf of Icerect 22. I take an opportunity to welcome Dr. R.M. Malingegowda, Principal, PSC, Mandya, and who is also a conference chair of Icerect 22, who have constantly guided us. I heartily welcome you, sir. It gives me a great pleasure to extend my warm welcome to Governing Council Member, Trustee of People's Education Trust, Mandya. I heartfully welcome the HODs from various departments, deans, COE. It also gives me a great pleasure to extend my warm welcome to various committee members of Icerect 22. I also take privilege to welcome all teaching and non-teaching staff of various departments who are present here. I heartily welcome all the participants who are present and those who have joined virtually, without whom this Icerect 22 would be incomplete. I also welcome all the student volunteers, and also IEEE student volunteers who have joined directly and indirectly to make Icerect 22 successful. Last but not the least, I take the privilege to welcome all reviewers, session chairs who are present physically and those who have joined virtually on behalf of Icerect 22. Thank you. I also welcome the media persons to this conference.
Thank you, sir, for the welcome. I now welcome Dr. Anand MJ, the head of the Department of Electronics and Communication and the organizing chair of ICE RECT 2022. Heartily welcome, sir. Shubham karoti kalyanam arogyam dhana sampadah shatru buddhi vinashaya deepajyotir namostute deepajyotir parabrahma deepajyotir janardhana deepo harati papani sandhya deepa namostute. This is a famous Sanskrit quote. Now I request Dr. Subhash Chandra Mukhyopadhyay, Fellow IEEE, Professor of Mechanical Electronics Engineering, Macquarie University, Australia, to inaugurate the ICE RECT 2022 by lighting the lamp, and I request all the dignitaries on the dais to join in. I request everyone present over here to please stand up. We request one of the participants to join the proceedings on the dais. Thank you, everyone. I now invite the person without whom this would have not been possible. Since the beginning of ICE RECT 2022, he stood as a backbone in all perspectives to make ICE RECT a successful event. He is our beloved chairman of PET Mandya, Sri K.S. Vijay Anand, who is also the chief patron of ICE RECT 2022. Now I request Sri K.S. Vijay Anand to deliver the presidential address.
Good morning, one and all. AICT and IEEE sponsored 4th International Conference on Emerging Research in Electronics, Computer Science and Technology. I welcome Dr. Subhash Chandra Mukhyopadhyay, who has come across Sydney for this international conference on behalf of PET Trust and PS College of Engineering. We are pleased to welcome you, sir. Thank you. And Dr. Parmeshwar, Chair Tribali, Mysore subsection. I welcome you also, sir. He is from Tiptur, Tumpur. It has been glad to meet you, sir. I welcome you once again. And our PET Trust Secretary, Shri S.L. Shivprasad, sir. And our college principal, Malinge Gowda, sir. And HOD Electronics, Anand. And all the faculties and students and the participants across the world and who are in work. Who are attending on online, I welcome you all on behalf of PS College of Engineering. We are pleased that the Department of Electronics and Communication are hosting this for the fourth time. It has been started from 2012. I congratulate the faculties to do this more in future, because these are all necessities for the students to learn something across the global. And I once again pleased to be in this part of the stage. This is all necessary for the students. You learn some things because professors will come across the world. They will feed you some knowledges. You take it and you execute in your life in future. I don't talk much. I have a little bit personal work. Sorry, I am leaving the stage in between. Sorry, sir. As I told, I have some death ceremony. I have to leave in between. Sorry for the inconvenience. Please kindly excuse me. I welcome you all. Once again, the participants and the speakers. Thank you. Thank you.
I thank Vijay Anand sir for his constant support throughout this journey. If not written, many of man's history would be lost. To join this conference into the historical record books, I would like to invite the dignitaries on the dais to release the conference proceedings book that consists of abstract of 132 papers in various tracks. Now it's time to express a token of gratitude to the support of our PET management in this journey. I request Sri K.S. Vijay Anand, Chairman, PET Mandya, to receive our token of gratitude. I request Dr. Subhash Chandra Mukhopadhyay to felicitate, and I request other dignitaries to accompany him.
Okay, sir. Oh, thank you, sir. Chair.
Now I request Dr. Nagaratna, Head of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, to introduce Dr. Subhash Chandra Mukhopadhyay to the gathering and request him to address the gathering.
ಈ ಕಡೆ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಮೈಕಲ್ಲಿ.
Good morning, one and all. Today's keynote is on IoT, smart homes, smart cities, from sensors to computing. The advancement in electronics, embedded controllers, smart communication devices, as well as progress towards a better information, knowledge-based society increases the demand for small size, affordable sensors that allow accurate and reliable data recording, processing, storing, and communication. This leads to the paradigm of IoT, that is Internet of Programming, Internet of Things, in which wireless sensor nodes are most important elements. Today's keynote talk will be on research activities on development of IoT and WSN, that is wireless sensor network based systems, towards managing our health at home in the better ways. The holistic view of IoT, its challenges and opportunities will be presented. Recent works on sensors for smart cities and water applications will be shared. It is a great honor to me to give a short biography of Dr. Subhash Chandra Mukhopadhyaya, who is the keynote speaker. Dr. Subhash Chandra Mukhopadhyaya graduated from the Department of Electrical Engineering, Jadavpur University, Calcutta, with a gold medal and received Masters of Electrical Engineering degree from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He has PhD degree from Jadavpur University in India and Doctor of Engineering degree from Kanazawa University, Japan. He has over 32 years of teaching, research and industry experience. Currently, he is working as a professor of mechanical electronics engineering in Macquarie University, Australia, Sydney, and is discipline leader of the mechatronics engineering degree program. He is the director of international engagement of School of Engineering. His field of interest includes smart sensors, sensing technology, instrumentation technology, wireless sensors, networks, and IoT. He has published over 500 papers in different international journals and conference proceedings, written 10 books and 52 book chapters, and edited 18 conference proceedings. He has also edited 35 books with Springer and 30 journal special issues. He has organized over 20 international conferences as either general chair, co-chair, or technical program chair. He has delivered 410 presentations, including keynote, invited tutorials, and special lecture. Apart from this, he is a fellow of IEEE USA, fellow of IET UK, and fellow of IETE India, a topical editor of IEEE Sensor Journal, and an associated editor of IEEE Transaction of Instrumentation and Measurements. He is IEEE reviewer of Biological Engineering, IOP Measurement Science and Technology. He is a distinguished lecturer of IEEE Sensor Council from 2017 to 2022. He was a founding chairman of the IEEE IMS New South Wales chapter. He is a founding chairman of IEEE New South Wales Sensor Council chapter. Now I request Professor Subhash Chandra Mukhopadhyaya to address the gathering.
Thank you, madam, for your kind introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to you all. I am really pleased and honored to be here on the occasion of the 4th International Conference on Emerging Research in Electronics, Computer Science and Engineering Technology, organized by PS College of Engineering. I personally know organization of conference is a huge task. So I'd like to congratulate PS College of Engineering, all the organizing committee, all the support staff, as well as the volunteers, and last not the least, all the presenters, delegates, and attendees for making this conference today and tomorrow. On behalf of this college, I would like to say that organizing conference means providing a platform where the researcher, they present their research, they get the feedback with the attendees, and they discuss. We engineers, we try to solve different types of problems which can help the society, science, and technology. So I personally think this platform will be that event of that networking and making friends will be continuing as a long-term network. So I would like to see that happen, and I am very pleased to be here, and I will be happy to interact with you when I give the keynote and also any kind of queries you have. So thank you everyone, and I hope you enjoy this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the inspiring talk. I now have the privilege to introduce to you the guest of honor for today's conference, Dr. Emmanuel S. Grant, Associate Professor. Computer Science, SEEKS, and SEEKS Graduate Program Director. His research interests are in software development methodologies, formal specification techniques, domain-specific modeling languages, model-driven software development, software engineering education, and ethics for software engineering. Emmanuel Grant has conducted research in software engineering teaching with collaborations from Holy Angel University, Philippines, Health University, Malaysia, the third, Hyderabad, from India, Singapore Management University, Singapore, Montclair State University, and the University of North Carolina, Wilmington of the USA, and the University of Technology, Jamaica. He is affiliated with CMAT, Software Engineering Method and Theory Organization, as a member of the Essence, Kernel, and Language for Software Engineering Methods, Essence Group. Emmanuel is a member of the Association of Computer Machinery, ACM, and Upsilon Pi Epsilon, UPE, and the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, IEEE. I now, due to unfortunate circumstances, he is unable to join with us here physically, so he will be joining us virtually. I request the coordinators to please play the video bit that he sent us, and I request the organizers to switch off the lights.
Good day and welcome to the 4th International Conference on Emerging Research in Electronics, Computer Science, and Technology. It is my pleasure as an honored guest to welcome you all, our sponsors, technical co-sponsored by IEEE Bangalore Conference of Bangalore Section, and financial sponsored by the ICT of New Delhi. My name is Emmanuel Grant, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this conference, which will be hosted by the PES College of Engineering. This conference brings together researchers, both faculty, student, and industry, present research work in progress, emerging research in the areas stipulated. It is hoped that panelists to share knowledge and experiences in collegial and cordial manner throughout the 2 days of the conference. Unfortunately, I'm not here in person, but I will be attending all the virtual online sessions. I will be sharing video recording of my presentation with you. It is a wonderful thing when we can get together and share our experiences in this manner. Over the next 2 days, we will be hearing from other colleagues. We may be making new friendships. It will be an opportunity for us to spark some collaborative research and teaching effort, and to gain a broad-based knowledge of various persons in our area of research.
Virtual online sessions. I will be sharing video recordings of my presentation with you. It is a wonderful thing that when we can get together to share our experiences in this manner. Over the next 2 days, we will be meeting other colleagues. We may be making new friendships. It will be an opportunity for us to spark some collaborative research and teaching effort, and to gain a broad-based knowledge of what is going on in our area of research and other related areas. Again, the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, the Department of Information Science and Engineering, and the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, and the PES College of Engineering. Welcome to. As I said, my name is Emmanuel Grant, and I'm a professor at the University of North Georgia in the United States. I will be making a presentation later in this conference. But contact with some of you virtually as you make your presentations, as you share your experience. And I hope that this is a wonderful and rewarding experience.
Thank you, sir, for joining us digitally, and we would like to network with you in the future. Thanks for the best wishes, sir. I now request Dr. Anita ML, Head of the Department of Information Science and Engineering, to introduce Dr. Parameshachari D to the gathering and request him to address the gathering.
Good morning, one and all. It is my privilege to introduce guest of honor Dr. Parameshachari sir to the audience. Dr. Parameshachari sir is currently working as professor in Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at Nitte Meenakshi Institute of Technology, Bangalore. He completed his BE degree in Electronics and Communication He is an associate editor for International Journal of Reconfigurable and Embedded Systems, International Journal of Big Data Analytics in Healthcare, Journal of Technological Advancements, Quantum Cryptography and Future of Cybersecurity. He was the regional chair for the 10th International Conference ICTC 2019 held at Korea, invited speaker for 4th International Conference on Multimedia and Image Processing held at University of Mandya, Malaysia. He was also the keynote speaker for the International Conference on Electronics, Communications and Information Technology held at China. Sir has delivered many technical talks and is honored as a resource person in Technical Program Committee of various international, national conferences, national FDPs, workshops and seminars. He has established 14 IEEE student branches and 30 IEEE student branch chapters across Karnataka. Sir is also the recipient of IEEE Bangalore Section Outstanding Voluntary Award, Best Branch Counselor Award, and Outstanding Reviewer for Elsevier Signal Processing Journal. His interview with All India Radio Mysore on opportunities in the field of telecommunication engineering in Yuvavani program has benefited the students. His research interest includes image processing, computer vision, network security, language processing, data science and IoT. He is currently serving as the chair for IEEE Mysore subsection, executive committee member, IEEE Bangalore section, founder chair IEEE Information Theory Society Bangalore chapter. Now I request Dr. Parameshachari sir to address the gathering. Thank you.
morning, Honorable President here. Respected dignitaries on the dais, and my dear student friends and my colleagues, and IEEE student volunteers, the faculty members of the PS College of Engineering. Welcome all of you for this inauguration of International Conference on Emerging Research in Electronics, Computer Science and Technology, ICERECT 2022. It is indeed a special privilege for IEEE Mysore subsection to be the technical co-sponsor for ICERECT 2022. First of all, I would like to thank the President, Dr. K.S. Vijayanand and Dr. R.M. Mahalingi Goda, Principal, PS College of Engineering, Mandya, and also the organizing chairs, Dr. M.J. Anand, Dr. Nagarna, Dr. Anita Eman, Mr. M.D., T.M. Srinivas, for inviting me to this international conference. We know that IEEE is the world's largest professional organization. So currently we have more than 450,000 members across in over 160 countries. And association with the technical professional body is helpful for receiving recognition by the accreditation bodies like NBA and the NAC. So we have observed that many IEEE student members of this PS College of Engineering is association with the IEEE Mysore subsection as well as IEEE Bangalore section. And once we become an IEEE member, we are having an opportunity to become a volunteer and give back to the society. In IEEE, we have the membership like student member, graduate member, and IEEE professional member. And with significant contribution, we can go for IEEE senior member. So we have with us IEEE fellow. To become an IEEE fellow, it is very difficult. So in across Karnataka, we have around 30 IEEE fellow members are there. So thanks to Dr. Subhash Chandra sir for accepting to be keynote speaker for this today's inauguration. And through IEEE only we can able to contact with the people like Dr. Subhash Chandra and other fellows, the member speaker, the eminent person joined online. IEEE is not only limited to the computer science, electronics or electrical engineers. So other department can also join for IEEE. We have in IEEE there are 39 technical societies representing the wide range of IEEE technical interests. So even for mechanical engineering can open the chapters like vehicular technology and robotic automation. And civil engineering they can also open and join for IEEE with the IEEE oceanic engineering and geoscience, remote sensing. IEEE develops communities around particular technology challenges or cutting-edge subject areas. Their areas coverage may general in nature, which include multidisciplinary topics on emerging concepts. The IEEE student branch of PS College of Engineering is also one of the vibrant student branch in IEEE Bangalore section as well as the IEEE Mysore subsection, and conducting many activities. And also the student branch of PS Mandya is also one of the partner of this today's international conference. So I would like to congratulate the student branch counselor Dr. Puneet Kumar for taking initiation to conduct various activities. And I would like to commend Dr. Radhakrishna Rao sir has put a lot of efforts to starting this IEEE student branch in PS College of Engineering. And also the student branch chair, Mr. Skanda, is association with the IEEE Bangalore section as well as the IEEE Mysore subsection. And IEEE Mysore subsection is covers 5 districts: Mysore, Mandya, Asan, Chamarajanagar and Kodagu districts. And it is having more than 15 IEEE student branches and around 1,000 IEEE student members. IEEE Mysore subsection is conducting various flagship events. So IEEE Mysore Khan has established the Mysore subsection. And next year we have an IEEE Mysore subsection conducting BHTC 2023 is the IEEE Bangalore section Humanity and Technology Conference. And also it is organizing IEEE IndusCon 2023. IndusCon 2023 is the 4th flagship annual international conference of IEEE India Council. It is to be hosted in the month of 4th to 6th August 2023 at the Chittapalli site of Mysore. And also Mysore Con 2023 is to be held at Malnad College of Engineering, Asan. And BHTC, that Bangalore Humanity and Technology Conference, to be held in the month of 24th and 25th March at JSS Medical College, Mysore. So these are some of the activities of the IEEE Mysore subsection. And this conference is intended to provide a common platform for researchers, academicians, scientists, and industrial practitioners and scholars in the frontline evolutionary challenges in this field. I believe the organizers of this conference have done whatever they have intended to provide to the participants. So I heard that the conference has received more than 450 plus papers and accepted 130 plus papers. So looking at this acceptance ratio, it is less than 30. So we need to maintain the quality of the IEEE, to maintain the quality of the accepted papers of the conference. We know that IEEE is known for quality. We should maintain scrutiny process to maintain the quality of the accepted papers. And ICREC 2022 assures quality publication, and authors will surely feel proud to publish this renowned conference, ICREC 2022. And also the IEEE Bangalore section AGM is scheduled on 8 January 2023, and IEEE Mysore subsection AGM is scheduled on 1st January 2023. I request all of you, the IEEE members especially, I request all of you to attend the AGM of IEEE Bangalore section as well as the IEEE Mysore subsection. And also this conference, I am very impressed to see the various technical programs and keynote speakers and put together by the organizing committee and the leadership team. And finally, I take this opportunity to thank the principal and management of PS College of Engineering Mandya for organizing such a wonderful conference. I once again thank everyone for joining this conference and making it a grand event. Thank you. Thank you.
I thank Dr. Parameshwachari BD for giving a glimpse of all the future IEEE activities and explaining the benefits of being an IEEE member. Now it's time for felicitation. Globalites have proved their talent in all streams, and to appreciate their presence in their busy schedule is our responsibility and duty. Now it's time to felicitate our guests. I request Dr. Subhash Chandra Mukhyopadhyay to receive our token of gratitude. I request Sri S.L. Shivaprasad, Secretary P.T. Mandya, to felicitate, and I request other dignitaries to accompany him. I request his family members who have stood by his side throughout his life to stand by his side now as well. I request all three of you to join.
Sir, side, sir. Sir, side in the sir. Sir, side in the. Hello. Thank you, sir.
Now I request Dr. Parameshwachari BD sir to receive our token of gratitude. I request Dr. R.M. Mahalingegowda, Principal, PSC Mandya, to felicitate, and I request other dignitaries to accompany him.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
ICRECT 2022 is nurtured and supported to be what it is today by our beloved principal, Dr. R.M. Mahalingegowda. So I call upon Dr. R.M. Mahalingegowda to address the gathering.
బాగలేదే ఓపెన్
Good morning, one and all. We have dignitaries on the the invited keynote speaker, Subhash Chandra Mukhopadhyaya, and in absence of our Honorable President, just now he left on emergency. And on behalf of him, we have requested our Honorable Secretary S.L. Prasad to preside over the function. And our IEEE section, Parameshwar Chai from NMIT Bangalore, and Professor and HOD Anand, and all the invited Governing Council members, trustees of PET, all professors and heads of the department of various sections, and all our faculty, both teaching and non-teaching, students, and all invited delegates who are here for deliberations in the conference, and media persons. It is indeed a great pleasure to organize this 4th International Conference. The series started in the year 2012. The first was held in 2012, then in 2015, second one, and third one is in 2018. The fourth is in the today and tomorrow. It is a proud moment for PS College of Engineering, of course by the sponsorship of AICT, IEEE, and also full and heartfelt support by the management of PET. With this, we will be able to make this conference reality today and tomorrow. I greatly welcome all the delegates who are here to present in offline as well as on virtual mode. Even many of the speakers, especially the guest of honor, Emmanuel S. Grant, Satish Kumar Padoja, Deepa Shanai, who are on virtual connect. I welcome them also for this conference. I request them to be active virtually to interact with all the delegates so that make this conference more meaningful for today and tomorrow. And they will be the source of energy to actively deliberate many of their new research ideas and to present their results and to interact and come out with a proper conclusions to make it the innovative ideas to go in a long way. And this PS of College of Engineering is providing a platform for all researchers, invited researchers, scientists, all the delegates who may be the entrepreneurs, industrialists, maybe from the academic institutions or from the industry. They can actively participate, deliberate, and interact and carry with new ideas home and make this conference a more fruitful for these coming 2 days, including today. Okay? Now, as a principal and conference chair, it is my pleasure and proud to share few overview of PS College of Engineering, especially for the delegates who are offline as well as on virtual mode, to share few ideas of the PS College of Engineering. Mainly the PS College of Engineering started in the year 1962 under the late visionary and the former Education Minister Sri K.V. Shankaragowda. Over the 60 years, it has achieved lot of milestones. In its journey, it has invited many researchers to this campus. Many of our alumni have achieved greater heights and they are placed worldwide. They are working for the social cause and they have attained their maximum level in their positions.
It is a proud moment to PS College of Engineering to share these views, and also over the years this ranking of this institution has reached to the higher level. It was 2019, we have achieved a rank of 161 in 2019. It has increased its ranking position in the national ranking framework to 137 in 2022. It is a proud moment for all of us. Over the years, it is keep on increasing. We hope in the years to come, we will achieve still greater heights as a BS College of Engineering. It will be recognized internationally as well. And also in the ARA ranking also, we are in the recognized band as a performer. Maybe in future we will perform still better to achieve greater ranking in the ARA as well. And as a conference chair, I welcome all the delegates who are here to deliberate their research ideas. Please actively participate, present your result, and carry these 2 days as an enjoying moment with new ideas, and all the industries and entrepreneurs who are here also can make use of these research deliberations to come out with a new product in the future. I hope this conference in future will socially benefit the community at large. Okay, with these few words, I thank all the organizers, especially behind this, the 4 department faculty, mainly Department of Electronics and Communication, Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Computer Science and Engineering, and Information Science Engineering faculty have taken a lot of pain in organizing this. Of course, with financial support by AICT and IEEE, as well as greater support from the management PET. With this, I thank for sponsors as well as the whole also supported by the management for this conference. I thank you one and all who are actively involved, and also I welcome all the delegates who are here, and please actively participate and make this conference more meaningful. I thank one and all for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your speech. Shri S.L. Shivaprasad, Secretary, PET Mandya, who is a proud alumni from the 1970 batch of Civil Engineering. He is a retired Chief Engineer at Karnataka Power Corporation Limited. Even after retirement, he is serving as a Technical Advisor at Kaveri Neeravari Nigama. The elderly guidance was predominantly provided in the journey of ICE RECT 2022. Now I request Shri S.L. Shivaprasad to address the gathering.
Gurubhyo Namaha. Dignitaries on the dais, academicians, participants, dignitaries, delegates, and students. I would like to quote a stanza from Mankutimanakarga, written by Dr. D.V. Gundappa, a philosopher. Jagabeledu chigurutire, shastra karatilavude, ನಿಗಮ ಸಂತತಿಗೆ ಸಂತತಿಯಾಗದಿರುವುದೇ ಬಗೆ ಬಗೆಯ ಜೀವಸತ್ವ ವಿಕಾಸವಾಗುತ್ತಿರಲೋಗುವುದೇ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ. ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಹೊಸ ಹೊಸ ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿದುಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಗಿಡಬಳ್ಳಿಗಳು ವರ್ಷವೂ ಚಿಗುರಿ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಹೂ ಬಿಡುವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆಯು ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಹೊಸ ಜೀವಕಾಂತಿಯನ್ನು ತೋರಬೇಕು. ನವ್ಯತೆಯೇ ಜೀವನ. ಗಿಡ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಚಿಗುರಿಡದೆ ಕರಡು ಕಟ್ಟಿ ನಿಂತರೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಅವುಗಳ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ ನಿಂತು ಹೋದರೆ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ಕಡಿದು ಎಸೆದು ಬಿಡುವೆವಲ್ಲವೇ? ಹೀಗೆ ಒಂದು ನೂತನ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಕುತೂಹಲ, ನೂತನ ವಿಮರ್ಶನ ಕ್ರಮ, ನೂತನ ವಿಚಾರ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಇವು ಜೀವಸತ್ವದ ವಿಕಾಸದ ಗುರುತುಗಳಾಗಿ ಕಾಣುತ್ತಿವೆ. ಇವೇ ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ಬುದ್ಧಿಯ ಲಕ್ಷಣಗಳಾಗಿವೆ. A scientist's nature and instinct is to know new things, explore new places, even planets, to postulate new theories and inventions in science and technology, etc. With this instinctive nature, only developments in science and technology have taken place, and this will be a continuous process with advancements in new innovations based on the earlier theories, postulates as foundation material. These are like the roots of a big tree, with new inventions are like new sprouts, new leaves, and flowers are like new flowers of the parent tree. If new developments, innovations are not emerging, the tree of technology will be a barren tree. With this preamble, I wish the object of the conference is looking for contributions in the broad area of electronics, computer science, and information technology, and emergent technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, cyber security, robotics, gene therapy, 3D printing, stem cell theory, etc. in theoretical and practical aspects be fulfilled by bringing together the academic scientists, professors, research scholars, and students to share and disseminate information and knowledge and scientific research works related to the conference subjects. This shall be towards making our country Atmanirbhar Bharat and Shrestha Bharat. Once again, I wish the conference a grand success. I thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to share the dais and also to speak a few words on this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. Now it's time to express a token of gratitude to the support of our PET management in this journey. Now I request Sri S.L. Shivaprasad, Secretary, PET Mandya, to receive our token of gratitude. I request Dr. Parameshwar BD to felicitate, and I request other dignitaries to accompany him.
ಬನ್ನಿ ಸರ್, ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಸರ್, ಹಿಂದೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ಸರ್, ಬನ್ನಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಮುಂದೆ ಸರ್.
Now I request Dr. R.M. Mahalingegowda, Principal, PSC Mandya, to receive our token of gratitude. I request Dr. M.J. Anand, HOD of Electronics and Communication Department, Organizing Chair of ICRECT 2022, to felicitate, and I request other dignitaries on the dais to accompany them.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Now I request Ashra A.N., Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication, to thank one and all assembled over here.
Good morning, one and all. Gratitude is a quality similar to electricity. It must be produced and discharged and used up in order to exist at all. It's a great honor and privilege to me to express my sincere gratitude on behalf of Icerect 2022. Let me first start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's occasion a resounding success. First and foremost, I express a sincere gratitude to Dr. Subhash Chandra Mukhopadhyay, Fellow IEEE, Professor of Mechanical and Electrical Engineering, Macquarie University, Australia, who despite of his busy schedule has found time to grace this occasion. I express my heartfelt thank you personally and on behalf of Icerect 2020. Thank you. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest, Dr. Emmanuel S. Grant, Associate Professor, Associate Director, Director SWCS, Upson 2, College of Engineering and Mines, University of North Dakota, USA. And Dr. Satish Kumar Pedraju, Associate Professor, Department of CSE, Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, Uttarakhand, India. And also Dr. P. Deepa Shanaik, Chair IEEE, Bangalore Section, Professor, Department of CSE, University of Vishweshwaraya College of Engineering, Bangalore, who have supported and constantly guided throughout the journey of Icerect 2022 and made their presence virtually to the event. A heartfelt thank you to all from Icerect 2022. A special thanks to our guest of honor, Dr. Parameshwari B.D., Chair IEEE, Mysore Subsection, Professor, Department of ECE, Nitya Meenakshi Institute of Technology, Bangalore, who constantly guided technically for Icerect 2022. It makes me overwhelmed to express my sincere gratitude to you, sir. Thank you. And I express my sincere gratitude to our Honorable Chairman, P.T. Mandya, Shri K.S. Vijayanand, whose presence have graced the occasion, and heartfelt thanks to your presence and constant support for Icerect 2022. Thank you, sir. A heartfelt gratitude to our Honorable Secretary, P.T. Mandya, Shri S.L. Shivprasad, who have constantly guided and supported us. I express my sincere gratitude to you, sir, on behalf of Icerect 2022. Thank you. We are grateful to our principal, Dr. R.M. Mahalingegowda, for his encouragement and guidance throughout the journey of Icerect 2022. I personally, on behalf of Icerect team, express sincere gratitude to you, your kindness and support. Thank you. And my heartfelt thanks to organizing chairs and various committee members of Icerect 2022 for their valuable contribution towards the success of Icerect 2022. I express my sincere gratitude to all the staff members of various departments for their presence and cooperation in Icerect. A wide round of applause and thanks to all the participants who made the event successful with their presence physically and virtually. A heartfelt thank you on behalf of Icerect 2022. And I take this privilege to thank all the reviewers who have supported and helped the authors with your valuable guidance and made our system work smoothly. Thank you all who are present here and those who have joined virtually on behalf of Icerect 2022. And I express my sincere gratitude to all the session chairs for a great support to run the conference smoothly. Thank you all who are present and joined us virtually. Thank you one and all. Last but not the least, I express grateful thanks to the sponsoring organizations, IEEE, Bangalore Section, and AICTE New Delhi, whose wholeheartedly support made this conference a reality. So finally, I would like to thank all of you present here for making the time to be with us today physically and virtually and helping us make this event a grand success. I also express thank you to one and all who have supported directly and indirectly and also virtually. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, Asha ma'am, for delivering the vote of thanks. I now request all the participants and all the student volunteers to stay back for the keynote speech by Dr. Subhash Chandra Mukhopadhyay. In the meantime, I request all the ICE-RECT volunteers to come on the dais and take a photo with the dignitaries. Thank you, everyone. I request all the student volunteers of ICE-RECT to come on the dais for a photo session. I request Dr. K. A. Radhakrishna Rao sir, who is our branch mentor for IEEE PSC student branch, to join us. I request Dr. Anita ma'am, Head of the Department, Information Science, who is our WIE mentor. I request Dr. MC Padma ma'am, who is the WIE counselor of IEEE PSC WIE chapter. I request Dr. Puneet Kumar MD, branch counselor of IEEE PSC. I request all the organizing chairs of various departments to join us on the dais. I request Nagratna ma'am to join us. I request Dr. Srinivas sir to join us on the dais. I request Veena ma'am to join us on the dais as well.
Okay, ready, sir? Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I request all the students to stay back for the keynote speech and the faculties as well.
Gita, you're speak ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಯಾರು ಇಬ್ಬರು ಯಾರು ಯಾರು ಇವ್ರು ನಾಳೆಗೆ
I request everyone to stay back for the keynote speech. The session will start very shortly. Thank you for your patience.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಾ
ಲೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಲ್ಗೆ ಹೊಡಿ ಸರ್ ನೀನು ಅಲ್ಲೋಗು ಈ ಕಡೆ
ಹಾಕಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಕೂಡ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಕೂಡ
ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿ
ಹಾಂ ಸರ್
ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಈ ಸೈಡೆಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅದು
ಶ್ರೀ ಹನುಮತೆ ನಮಃ.
Okay, so good morning again, everyone. Can you hear me?
Shri Hanumate Namaha.
Can you hear me?
Shri
Yeah, so
Shri Hanumate Namaha.
So it's my pleasure to deliver the keynote address for this conference, fourth international conference on emerging topic on electronic comprehensive and technology. Smart home, smart city, sensor to computing. So before I go to the research, just few seconds to tell about my university. So I am based in Sydney. My university name is Macquarie University. The university was established in 1964, slightly younger than your college. We are around 20 kilometers from the city center to the north of Sydney. The university was started as a business university, and in late 90s the engineering was added. First it was with electronics engineering. So in terms of the age of the university for the engineering program is just over 25 years. But if you see the contributions, the professors of our university, they were responsible for the development of the Wi-Fi IC. So Professor David Scalar and Professor Neil West, they were involved in the late 90s to develop the IC. As you all know that we are now living under pandemic. Last 3 years, we have had numerous meetings or even lectures. Many of you are students, they know that you have attended lectures over different internet-based system, either Zoom or Meeting or Google Meet. So Wi-Fi becoming very important for us. So at my university, my group, we do research on design, development of sensors, different types of sensors that can be applied either for healthcare applications or for environmental monitoring or for different industrial applications. So what you see here in this slide, that we use different types of sensors in our day-to-day life. Many sensors, what you see here, we use our eyes to read the output. But we cannot use human for all applications. So what we expect, the sensors will give us signals, electrical signals, and we will collect the signals and we will process the signals. At the end, either we will use that for monitoring to know what is happening, or we will take some corrective actions. So in my group, we actually do two types of research. We use readily available sensors, what you see is the left hand side, making systems for specific applications, and on the right hand side, you see the different applications of sensors. So it fabricates sensors either from the MEMS technology, micro electromechanical systems, silicon-based applications, or also in recent times we use different flexible material. The purpose is to have sensors for a specific application. When we develop sensors, we try to have those data available for remote monitoring. And that's why Internet of Things becoming very, very important. We have seen these days different applications of Internet of Things. our smartphone become a very good example. When you take a picture, you want to upload it in your Facebook. But basic purpose is when we have any kind of measurement which is done real time, you want to have that data not only seen by you, but also anyone. Of course, there are issues of accessing the data, and that's why the security is very important. So in order to make that, you have the sensors. The sensors should be wirelessly connected to a gateway. There are different types of gateway available with us. One of the gateways these days for remote monitoring environmental parameters is called LoRa, Long Range Wide Area Network. And that gateway should be connected with the cloud, where the data will be stored. And then you can access the data for different applications, whatever you need. So in my research group, when we fabricate sensors, the sensor is basically called interdigital sensors. So in electrical engineering, you know fundamentally there are three parameters: resistance, capacitance, and inductance. We use those for different applications, making as sensor element. So here we use the capacitor. So when we have interdigital capacitor, it's like capacitor in the form of 3 dimensions become 2D, planar type of capacitor. So when you say capacitors, operating principle is electric field. You have got 2 electrodes, you produce electric field. Electric field passes through the material under test, and what we measure is impedance. So that impedance has got either resistance, capacitance, or combinations of them. You measure the impedance. So this method, what we use for the measurement of capacitance to determine the material properties, is called impedance spectroscopy. In some applications, your system can be either chemical or biological. So we call electrochemical impedance spectroscopy. So the whole idea is that you change the operating frequency and you measure the impedance, which has got capacitance and resistance, and you measure them to determine the properties you want to know. So one of the applications we have is the determination of E. coli bacteria, which we have some kind of food or meat contaminated with bacteria, and when the food, the meats are contaminated with bacteria, they are not safe for the consumption. So we can determine whether this meat or food are contaminated. And of course, we know that bacteria always presents in food, but it all depends on how much is the amount of bacteria. So if the bacteria is too much, which is not safe for the consumption. So the whole idea was whether we can actually determine before we consume the food. In many cases, when the food is actually meat, the animal is killed, and the consumption, there can be a few months. Because earlier I used to live in New Zealand, and the New Zealand actually export meat to 165 countries. So that if you think of the world, New Zealand and UK, they are actually located 2 parts of the whole world, and it can take 3 months when they actually export meat because it goes by sea. So there is always opportunity for the food get contaminated with bacteria. So the whole idea was that before any family consume meat, they can have this very low cost sensors can determine whether the food is safe or not to consume. So those who work with sensors, you know the sensors, one of the important parameters is called sensitivity. We want to determine very small amount what we want to measure. But another important property is called selectivity. Selectivity means your sensor to be selective, the parameter you are interested to measure. So in our laboratory, we also determine different polymers which can be used as a selective coating material on the top of the sensor surface. So we develop this polymer based on the technique called molecular impregnated polymer. So this develop, it can go up to 24 to 48 hours. Once you develop this polymer, then you can actually functionalize the polymer on top of the sensor surface. Then you can actually determine very easily what you want to measure. For example, those people who are suffering from diabetics, as you all know that you prick blood and 1 drop of blood you put on the electrodes and that tells you what is the glucose content. So that type of electrodes we can develop. But if you think of this application that you actually measure the blood and then you throw the electrodes. But if you do not want to throw the electrodes, if you want to use the same electrodes, what are the challenges? So sometimes this is the big problem when you think of the research going from the laboratory to real life applications. If you want to know that, suppose that water which is coming from the different from one place to your house, through the pipes, and you want to know whether the water got contaminated, and you want to have the sensors in certain areas, then this is the challenge, that whether the sensors will be able to measure continuously for a long time. And that's the challenge we engineers face, and we need to develop certain type of sensors which can be used for long-term applications. So when you develop a new sensors, first thing what we do, we characterize it. So after the development, you know the properties of the sensors. So one of the simple way you can do that is using this LCR meter. LCR meter stands for resistance, inductance and capacitance. So you actually want to see where your sensor is responsive, where is the operating area of the sensor. And this will give you very low cost infrastructure in any university or colleges to have this experiment. So here you see that your sensors actually the capacity type of sensor, so you can measure the capacitance and resistance, and also you can know what is your operating frequency for which you design your electronic circuits. So sensors you develop, and then you have to make a system. For making the system, you need the embedded processors where the sensor is interfaced, and this embedded microcontroller will be connected to wireless communications, where it will be communicating the measured data to the cloud. So one of the applications we did is for the determinants of the contaminants coming from the plastic bottle. We all know now that we actually drink water from the plastic bottle. You might not have noticed that this plastic bottle sometimes has got date of expiry. You might wonder that why is date of expiry? Because the water exists for millions and millions of years. We don't know when human being was created, but the water was there before. Water is our life. And why the water need to have this expiry date? It is not because of the water. It is because when water is stored in plastic bottle, the plastic will leach certain kind of plastics which is chemically known as phthalates. Now, amount of the phthalates can actually have health implications. So if we consume too much amount of phthalate, we will have some kind of health related problem. And that's why you can see this left-hand side is some Chinese script. So there was some issue in Taiwan, and we wanted to determine how much is the contamination of phthalate coming out of the plastic bottle. And then you can determine whether if it is safe to consume. So WHO, World Health Organization, has a guidelines, and that guidelines is 10 parts per billion. Of course, it depends on the weight of the human body. If the weight is a little high, then they can consume a little bit more. But 10 parts per billion is the standard guidelines. So these sensors what we develop, they actually can measure 2 parts per billion. So that type of applications we have done in our laboratory. In another applications, which is very, very important in recent times, is that early detection of osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a disease which happens for every human. In Australian statistics, every male 1 out of 4 and female 1 out of 3 at the age over 50 are suffering from osteoporosis. Osteoporosis means the bone become a little bit weak, bone become brittle, and there is a tendency to fall down because the bone is not strong enough to carry our weight. So when people fall down, break their bone, they of course go to doctor. Doctor actually treat them, plaster and whatever it is, give medicines. But doctors sometimes may not think that this is because of the osteoporosis. Now, the current method of knowing whether the person is suffering from osteoporosis is to know what is the weight or the mass of the bone. So if the doctor is smart enough, the doctor can recommend the patient to go for an X-ray. Once you have got the scan of the X-ray, then you can actually calculate, the doctor can calculate what is the mass of the bone of the whole body. Then you have to wait for 6 months to 9 months because the mass changes with time. After 9 months, you can have another scan and then you can take another mass and then you can see how much is the change of mass. That change of mass, of course, takes place during normal time because people is getting aged. But if the weight becomes much more than the normal weight, then of course doctor can think that the person is suffering from osteoporosis. So then of course the health management, different medicines can start to take the corrective action. A country like Australia, where the health system is free, government spend huge amount of money, more than $10 billion per year on osteoporosis problem. So in India, of course, that will be a huge amount because so many people are suffering from this disease. Also, another project we have done in recent times is that what is the condition of the kidney when people are having different types of problems, especially if they go for kidney-related problem. So same sensors can be selective to the particular material which you want to know. So for example, for osteoporosis, we need to determine the particular type of protein which is coming from the bone. So the content of the protein in blood will be more. So we need to have the sensor selective. So in recent times, we also developed flexible material-based sensors. MEMS-based sensors, you need infrastructure in the university. You need clean room, you need the silicon-based fabrication facility, which is sometimes very expensive. So many universities, many colleges may not have that. But flexible material-based sensor is not demanding too much infrastructure. So what we basically need is some kind of laser system, one laser cutter, which will be good enough to implement the flexible material-based sensor. There are different materials available for flexible material-based sensors. You need to have a platform which is base material, which can be PDMS, PET, so polydimethyl siloxane, polyethylene, tetraethylene, and so on. And then you, on top of that, you need to have electrode material. So electrode material can be graphene oxide, or carbon nanotube, or sometimes can be aluminum, or even sometimes silver, or if we have more money, we can go for gold. One interesting property of the flexible material, as you see, that when you apply for some kind of force, pressure, or stress, there will be some change of the dimension. So there will be some strain. So that stress and strain can lead to the change of the capacitance because you are changing the dimensions. So this flexible material-based sensor can be used for different applications. But one of the main applications is it can be used as a wearable sensor. It can come on the body. So it can be in the clothes, it can be in the bandage, or it can be anywhere. So there are different applications we see using flexible material-based sensors. We also develop some implanted sensors which can come inside the body using this flexible material. So in recent times, we have developed different sensors for different applications, healthcare-related applications, environmental monitoring, as well as industrial applications using these flexible material-based sensors. Sometimes, if you are developing sensors which are selective and you need to have a coating which will not be a good combinations or outside applications because you have a coating and if it comes in presence of water or any other material, the coating material will react. So you can also develop sensors and develop the machine learning algorithm. So you do not need any selective material. You can use the normal interdisciplinary sensors and then you develop machine learning algorithm to know what type of material you are determining. So you may have 2-3 materials, 2-3 properties you can actually determine using machine learning algorithm. Now here there is a challenge. If you want to determine very accurately, then it is not possible. Because in order to determine accurately, you need selective sensor. But this is not selective sensor. What you are doing using machine learning that you are fitting different data to give you accurate result. And that's under controlled environment. When you go outside, your environment is no more controlled. So you will have always the possibility of error. So that's why the machine learning algorithm-based sensors or machine learning algorithm-based any system, you don't expect that you get very high accuracy because theoretically it's not possible. But one important aspect you can understand that if you do not actually bother about the accuracy to a very great extent, what you need is a change of the values with time. Then you do not need to know what is the accuracy close to 100%. Because in certain applications, with time, you want to know what is the change. So then, machine learning-based algorithm will be very, very useful. And that's what we also develop different machine learning-based algorithms of sensing. So, the big picture of our research is to address one of the most important parameters of United Nations Sustainability Development Goal. If you know that in 2015, United Nations has defined 17 different goals which to be addressed by 2030 by all the government and of course universities and colleges. They are the most important places to address those goals. So one of the goals is good health and well-being. So we are working on that. So our focus is to develop smart environment or smart home which actually provide a safe, sound, secure and independent living environment for elderly, especially elderly, but also can address to people who want to live independent lifestyle. So independent lifestyle means people living alone at home. Now when somebody living alone at home, there is always a risk of different things can happen. Lot of incidents happen, people living alone and die. Most of the cases, in case of elderly people, people might have fallen down. Or people are sleeping on the bed and something happened, either heart attack or something happened. So if we apply technology there, smart sensors and technology, that actually can be used as somebody looking after the person who is living independent lifestyle. So the objective here is that we can use sensor and technology, not any kind of camera, because camera is not acceptable by people. Doesn't matter what is the age, they do not like to be there monitoring you 24/7. So without camera or vision-based sensors, we can use other types of sensors to monitor the person, and that monitoring will be done on real time, 24/7, and the data is collected and data is analyzed. Whole idea is that whether the person is doing regular activity on regular time. If not, then something is wrong. So as you can see that we can have different types of sensors to monitor the activity the person is doing. If we are lucky, then we can also have wearable sensors which can come on the person's body and we can measure the physiological parameters. We know what is the body temperature, heart rate and many other conditions which can tell that person is actually well. But in some cases, it cannot be guaranteed that the person will be using the wearable sensors. So if the person does not wear wearable sensors, using non-wearable sensors, we can also tell about the different activities of the person. As you can see here, whether the person is sleeping on the bed, person is watching television, person is using hot water kettle, and certain other appliances which are used for the day-to-day life. All those data are collected and analyzed. So when we think of the sensors, sensors give you data, and that data actually carries the information. That information needs to be extracted with the help of different algorithms. That algorithm sometimes we say machine learning algorithms, sometimes we say artificial intelligence, but basically you need to have intelligent and adaptive algorithm. Why adaptive? Because things changes. You need to introduce some kind of technique where it can take things changing with respect to time. Because if you develop something today, it should not be working only today, it should be working after 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, and so on. So you need to have your algorithm adaptive, which will change itself with time. So that's why different types of intelligent algorithm need to have with the sensor system. And these days we talk about machine learning and artificial intelligence, but it was existing long time back. We just give new name. So one of the project what we did, our theme project is the smart home, and as you can see, one elderly person is monitored. So we call it living lab. Many times we do experiment in the lab under controlled environment, but here it is not the controlled environment. Here you are applying the sensors in a home, which is an old home, and with the help of technology, you converted that old home to a smart home. So this house has been built in 1938, and we introduced different types of sensors, and we made it a smart home. So the biggest challenge is these days you see that a lot of construction is going on. When the construction is happening, new house is built, it is possible to introduce sensors. So if you buy a new apartment, you will find that the apartment actually, when you enter, the lights are on. So there are sensors or different other things. But this is possible in 2022 or 2020. But if you think of 1930s, 40s, 50s, all those types sensor was not that much existing. Technology was not available with us. Wireless communication was not available with us. At that time, the houses were built just the brick and wall, so you can actually retrofit, let's say, not those type of house, introducing sensors, you can make smart home. So that's the whole idea, and that's the big challenge. So when you talk about smart home, it's the sensor you are introducing, collecting the data from different appliances as well as the body, and those data are collected on real time and analyzed. So real time data analysis or near real-time data analysis is very important to make your system to be working with 100% satisfaction or performance. And the whole idea of this project is to determine what activity the person is doing. Person is sleeping, person is actually taking food, person is walking, a person is sitting on the sofa, or whatever it is. 24/7 you are monitoring the person, and if you monitor the person and you expect the person is doing the right thing, then you are safe, that is, person is well. That's why the idea is how to determine the wellness of the person, how well the person is. So we have to develop different types of algorithms for that, and also we are collecting a lot of data, and those data can be used to tell what is the future of the person doing. So how the person will be doing tomorrow, how the person will be doing next week, and so on. So that's why the algorithm is very, very important. And you are collecting the data, so you know when you collect the data, your forecast can be checked. You are forecasting and then you are comparing. Now forecasting is very useful because you do not know what will be the person's life tomorrow. Because you do not have any idea whether the person will be sleeping 10 hours tomorrow. So that's why forecast is important. So you forecast and you say that, okay, tomorrow person will be sleeping 9.5 hours. But if the person sleeps more than that, that means that is not normal, that is not regular. So you can actually find some problem here and you can get in action. And you can send a message to the caregiver or maybe a company who is actually looking after the person. So here we call that train. What is the train? The train you can actually determine using the data analysis. So these days, the trend is going towards called Internet of Medical Things. So you all know Internet of Things. Now the Internet is bifurcating in different areas. So one of the topic is Internet of Medical Things, where we talk about the medical related data. So healthcare related data, they are all put into the cloud, and we can actually determine much more better information about the state of the physical human being. This is the trend we are having, but there are challenges. One of the challenges is that how can you prevent the data from stolen? So the security is becoming a big important topic of research. People are developing different types of secure methods so that the data will not be misused by any hacker. And this can give a lot of information about the health-related problem at the early stage. If we know health-related problem at the early stage, we can actually take corrective actions and we can prevent a lot of things such as from death as well as the health-related management so the medicines and other things. I will talk about one of the applications we have done in recent times, which is called robotic surgery. Robotic surgery is becoming common in many countries, even in India, I don't know in Bangalore, but in Hyderabad, I know I discussed with one doctor there. He uses robots for the operations. So robotic surgery is using the robot called Da Vinci C robot, which has come in application from 2014. So this robot has got three parts. One part is actually the operations, another part is the one with the display, another part is the doctor's console where the doctor does the operations. So doctor is not physically doing anything, but with the help of the robotic arm is doing everything. So there are different advantages of doing that. One of the most important advantage is the recovery time. If somebody has got normal open heart surgery or something like that, the recovery time can go as high as 4 to 6 months. But this type of robotic-based operations, the recovery time is very quick. It can be days to weeks. So that's why this is very preferred these days. So I will talk about something called tumor detection and cancer using this. So audio is not audible. So basically what they do, they use a chemical, the spray, which is called indocyanine green. With the help of the fluorescent, the normal cells become green and the cancerous cells become grey. So it is easy for the doctor to see the difference of color. If the color is grey, they think it's a cancer, so they cut that cancerous part. But that dose of indocyanine green will be proper. Now that proper dose comes from the different parameters of the human body mass index, height, weight, and so many things. So sometimes it is very difficult for the doctor to decide the right amount of dose. Now if during their operations, if everything becomes green or everything becomes grey, doctor will be under confused state. Usually the doctor needs to have very large amount of training, so 300 hours of training using this robot, then only they go for operation. So the doctor who is in our university, he is a surgeon, he has operated more than 300 cases. He thinks that still the doctor does mistake. Of course, nobody questions the doctor because they can always say the operation is successful, but they are sometimes in a confused state and they need some kind of help. So our idea of this research is to give the doctor some kind of confirmation that yes, you are thinking that this is cancerous, it is cancerous. You are thinking this is non-cancerous, it is non-cancerous. So that's what we are trying to do. So again, the audio is not working. So here in this picture, you will see that whole kidney will be green. Slowly and slowly, it is becoming green.
There's no differential fluorescence anymore. Now everything is green.
So if the whole area is green, it's impossible for the doctor to continue the operations because green means it's safe, everything is non-cancerous.
And so they said, oh, forget it, I'm not going to use this thing. Okay. So here's a tumor. Again, this is the SI robot. This is before we figured it out, so it's an old case. And you'll see here's the tumor. And then now we give the green, here's the green. Look, kidney's green, tumor's not green. Awesome, we're in great shape, right? But now what's happening? Uh-oh, wait a minute. No, what's going on? The tumor's turning green. Oh, now it's useless. There's no differential fluorescence anymore. Now everything is green.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do here, we're trying to develop a system which will help the doctor for confirmation. That's what the whole idea we're doing here. So we have used the method CNN, convolutional neural network, as well as deep learning technique. So you get the data, get the image from the camera. That's your, like you can think of as a camera sensor, but then you do the image analysis. and at the end you tell the doctor, yes, it is cancerous or it's non-cancerous. Now, if you do research in the area of healthcare, especially involving human, ethics approval is the biggest hindrance in many countries, also in India. So this is a problem that when we are working with the doctor will not give us the database. So we have to collect the database with the doctor because he will not give us any video memory stick to take us from the hospital. So there is a big challenge on this type of research. The database is very limited. With the limited database, we have come up with some accuracy which need to be improved. So we use the deep learning technique. As you all know that you need the training image. You have to train the system what you develop, and then in the real applications you are trying to say from the image. And another important thing, this is actually video, but you are doing with your still image. So that's why there is some challenge and accuracy will be hampered. So we have used a normal i7 core computer with 4,000 GPU and 32 GB of RAM. If you have higher capacity, then you can improve the accuracy as well as you can improve the time of computation. So that's the BGG16 we have used for this neural net. So you see what we have done. We are actually telling what is the accuracy of that particular portion of the tissue or muscle is cancerous or non-cancerous. If the image is very clear, then you can actually get better accuracy. But sometimes in this type of applications, you will find that there are lots of blood, so it's very difficult to actually get a very good image. So this particular image, as you can see, there are lots of bloods coming, which makes it very difficult to find the accuracy in this system. So the time of computation is the main thing here, along with the accuracy, because doctor doesn't need to wait for long. So how can you quickly tell the doctor that what he is thinking, whether cancerous or non-cancerous, is accurate? So we are not replacing the surgeon, we are actually helping them in order to confirm that while he is doing the operations, if he has got any doubt, he doesn't need to use this system. Only when he has got some kind of doubt, then only he will use this system, and the system will be beside him, and then he will just confirm. So if the confirmation is matching with his thinking, then of course he can use this and he can decide to go ahead. So I will end with the last project which is currently we are doing. This is very important for many people who are suffering from back pain. This is called lumbar interbody fusion to address the back pain. So when people suffer from back pain, especially in the region of L3, L4 and L5 region, so sometimes the pain is unbearable, then they go to doctor, the spine specialist. Of course, the spine specialist can give a lot of advice, but if the situation is really, really bad and the person needs to get operated, then of course the spine specialist can do operation. I do not know what is the cost of that operation in India, but in Australia, the cost of this operation is around 75,000 Australian dollars. So it is a big money, almost like 40 lakhs rupees. It is not that after the operation person will be saved. There are lots of issues. In fact, the spine specialist told me that it is better not to have the operation. But still, some people are not able to stand up, they actually have to have operation. Now, as you can see, that operation actually, what the operation does, we have the L4, L5, L3, so between that we got the disc. In the disc area, they cut the disc and they apply a interbody gauge. So it's a metallic gauge made of titanium. They apply the interbody gauge and then they fix it, the L4, L5, L3 region with the elbow structure and screws. Now when the operation is done, person is lying on the operation theater, on the bed, so it's like a now 90-degree shift of our normal posture, and at that time doctor sees everything where the person is lying down. So doctor thinks that everything is done perfect. Of course, after 2 days, the person goes to home, but then when the person stand up, then the screw may be aligning itself. The screw might have got of pressure, screw might break, screw might bend. So lots of issues the doctor faces. There is no way the doctor knows what is the problem. Doctor can recommend the MRI scan or CT scan, but the MRI scan and CT scan are not appropriate for this type of application. In the worst case, if the situation is really bad, then doctor can go for second operation, which is of course not desirable. So that's what the doctor, who is a spine specialist, with my student, he wants to monitor how the operation is happening, and after the operation, how this interbody cage is carrying the weight. So you think of that, when we have a structure, normal house built, we make the cement mixed with sand and other things. There's jelly type of things. So that jelly type of things become solid. So it takes certain time. Exactly same thing happened here. Interbody cage, initially jelly type, and that cage becomes solid. So initially it will not have any weight, carrying any weight, but then you expect that it will carry the maximum weight or all the weight of the human body. So there are different other images with screws and other things where the problem can happen. So whole idea of this is to know the weight, how the weight is carried by the interbody cage and the spine structure with time. How do you monitor that? And that's what we came up with the idea, where the sensor can be introduced in the spine, in the interbody cage, and the sensor can tell us how the weight is carried. So there are some procedures to be followed. Of course, this is something which is not very easily to be implemented. We have to do a lot of simulations and then a lot of simulated environment, which actually tells that this is like bone, this is like muscle, and we have developed the sensors. Now the sensors will be inside the human body. No sensors work without power. So how can you actually provide power to the sensors? You cannot have battery inside the spine. So you have to provide power from the external source. Sensors will operate, and then sensor will give back the information which you monitor, which you collect and monitor, and you find out how the pressure is distributing. So we have developed two types of sensors. First type of sensor is available in the market. It's a company called Ampinal, which is 2 mm by 2 mm, and that sensors we have used for making this circuit. And later on, we have seen that that sensors is not very good enough. We have developed our own sensors, which is flexible material-based sensors, and which the down figure you see, which is very small, and which is because it's a flexible material, it is very easy to inside the interbody cage. So these are some of the electronics. What you see right now, we are not able to make the wireless system. We have made the wire-based system, and the wireless system is the next stage. So at this stage, what we have seen that the simulation result is pretty good, and then the experimental result of using this type of sensors, they actually within the simulated environment. Simulated environment gives us, using finite element method, what is the maximum stress and minimum stress, and our experimental result comes in between. So these are the sum of the result from the preliminary experiment. So we made the fusions at the early stage, and with time it becomes the solid fusion. So how the weight is carried out by the interbody cage during the early stage of the fusion and in the solid stage of the fusion. So that's the sensors we have fabricated, and last year we actually applied for a patent of these sensors, which is quite useful. So a lot of work to be done for these sensors. One of the applications which we find is the powering the sensors. So if you think of a normal human being, from the back side of the human being to the spine, it can be like 6 to 8 centimeters. For many persons, it can go as high as 10 centimeters. So providing wireless power from the outside to the sensors, this is a big challenge. The efficiency goes very low, as low as less than 1%. So that's the big challenge. How can you actually provide wireless power for the operation of the sensor? And then once you provide the power to the sensor, then the next stage is the sensor is sending you the signal back. How do you actually analyze that to know about the distribution of the forces inside the body? That's the things we are now working on. And next year there is a plan that it will be applied to animal. Human being will take some time, but it should be applied to the animal with the wire-based sensor. So last topic will be touching on called smart cities, sustainable cities. So our university has a railway stations which is called Macquarie University Stations. A few years back, the normal train was replaced by the metro, and during that time, almost 8 months, the train was stopped. So there is a disruption for human being because a lot of people use the train to come to the university, especially many staff and students. But when the train is not running, still the students has to come to the university. It was before pandemic. Of course, pandemic has changed the situation. We do not need to go to the university physically, but it was before the pandemic. So during that time, we wanted to know how the people behave during the disruption. So behavior detection of the people, one of the topics, and we got money from the government to know that. So what we did, we want to know that how the students and staff and researchers, they come to the university in different modes, either by walking or coming by bus, coming by car, coming by different other convents, because trains are not running. So that was the purpose of this project. So my part was that how do you determine the people are coming by walking? So the pedestrian counting. So we developed sensors to determine how many people through different roads are coming to the university. So of course we can determine different methods as we have listed here, that piezoelectric sensors or camera or RFID sensors or Wi-Fi readers, but there are some privacy issues involved. In some situations, privacy issue cannot allow you to use technology. So later on, addressing those issues, we realized that PIF sensors, passive infrared sensor, will be the ideal choice for these applications, which will count, which will not give us the details of the person. So that's what we developed. So low cost, detection ability, and low power, these are the requirements for us. So we developed different types of sensors from using the different sensors from market. So PIF sensors or environment monitoring sensors, along with all Arduino controller, and then wireless communications. For these wireless communications, we use LoRa, long range wide area network. And then in monitors, it counts, and then every 15 minutes, the data is uploaded to the server, and then we can analyze. So we developed 75 sensor nodes, and few of them are within the university, and many of them are outside the university. Now there are many practical issues to be addressed. For example, once you have a node, you are installing the node on pole, so you have to take permissions from the concerned authority. So those type of things. So as you can see here, they are outside on the poles, electric poles. And the network architecture, of course, you have the sensor node where you are counting, monitoring the parameters, and then you are sending it to the gateway, and then the gateway, of course, connecting it to the server where the data is stored, and then you access the data, you analyze the data. So again, I want to emphasize it that once you have the sensor node developed, then what you get is the data. So that's why it's an integrated system. Your data analysis will be with the sensors. You cannot actually isolate any one of them. So it's an integrated system, sensor, data analysis, and then of course you can do whatever you like. So if you see on the top, our university, and the other node, which is at Delhi Road, which is almost 5 kilometers. So it is very outside the university. Now when you install something outside the university, you need to take permission from the concerned authority. So usually in Australia is the city council, and then you have to take the action. And for installation also, important thing is that you cannot install by yourself. You have to use the concerned company who will be doing it the night time, considering from the human safety. And then once you have got the data, you can analyze the data, so you can actually verify. And one of the important things, you can know that where are your people on certain day of the certain time of the day, so you can different other things. So interesting observation is that, as you all know, that we had the pandemic, and especially on 2020 and 2021, there was a time when it was complete lockdown, so people are not able to go out. So this shows that during the lockdown, number of people on the road are really, really less. But interesting thing, if you see the left-hand side, people actually go out during the night time because there is no police, there is no someone available to see. So that is a very good, interesting observation of the human behavior. And then you can actually visualize the data using any kind of mode, either it's a phone, smartphone, or different other computer, laptop, or so on. So with that, I will actually stop here. I will conclude that in my lab, we develop different types of sensors. If sometimes the sensor is available in the market, we make sensing systems. We also fabricate sensors for different applications. Once we have developed the sensors, we make it integrated system using interfacing electronics and your embedded processor and the wireless communication. So wireless communication depends on what type of communication you want to use, whether you use Wi-Fi or LoRa or some other technique. Earlier days we used to also use GP, and then your data is on the server, and then you analyze the data. But in some applications, you may actually put your data onto the server, which is actually owned by some business company. So for example, this smart city monitoring, because we are actually uploading the data to a server which is outside our university, then you have to access the data with special permission. So you are generating your own data, but you are giving it to someone, and then you have to get permissions from them. So there are different challenges for real-life applications, but that's the way things are, and sensors are very, very important for our day-to-day life, and we need to monitor. Once we monitor, then only we can think of what actions we need to take for making it better, our life, our other things in society. With that, I will stop here, and I will be happy to take any questions or comments from you. Thank you very much.
Professor, it was a wonderful session. Question about the fabrication challenges. So what are the different fabrication challenges that you have came across while working on the sensor?
So it depends on what project we are involved with. So for example, when we were working on the smart city project, so first thing what we actually come up with that, can we go for camera? Okay, because camera can tell you that how many people and who is where and so on. But then we came with the issue that privacy issue, so we cannot have the camera. So then the issue is that if we do not use camera, then what are the other options? So then we have got a brainstorming session where we discuss different options, and then we came up with the PIR sensor. So this type of challenge you will actually face. Sometimes you face from the financial perspective, because when you think of that you are developing 100 plus type of systems, if you can save money for each one, you can save money for the whole. So it's actually not a single answer I will be able to give you. So in order to make the then you can actually find different ways to tackle that.
I do have a second question. So we will have a field called as a molecular spectroscopy. So this is useful in studying different molecules or materials. So how different is this? I mean, when you're using the sensors for sensing the state of the food. So I mean, is it on par with accuracy compared with the molecular spectroscopy?
Yeah, so that type of issue, like if you develop a selective sensors, it will be good that you make the selective sensors, which can be many. Your system can be one, and you actually use and throw. So if you adopt the policy of use and throw, you can make your sensing system very accurate. But if you want to go out, so use and throw is very easy for domestic applications, for laboratory applications. If you go outside that, then you use and throw is not practical, because no company will like you that they have to send some technicians to replace the sensor every day or every few weeks. So then there are some other challenges. So that's why the machine learning technique can be very, very useful there. And that's what we see that in some applications we still do not have the right sensors for addressing the problem. So again, I mean, it's something which actually you need to deal with, that how is the situation, what type of sensor you can have. So selective sensor is really, really good in the applications where you can follow the use and throw policy. So single use sensor is very good there. But sensor for long-term application is not the right choice. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Sir, this is the question regarding the sensor that you have used for tumor detection. The sensor what you have used, is it at the cell level?
So the tumor detection, so originally what happened, if somebody has got some kind of physical issue, health issue, they go to the doctor, and if the issue related to the tumor, the doctor of course go ask for MRI scan, and that will be detected by the doctor. So that one problem what we have dealt with is that if the person has got, let us say, brain tumor, not the normal tumor in other part of the body. So if the person has got a brain tumor and the brain surgeon, they operate it. So in 90% cases, the brain tumor reoccur within 6 months. Again, the problem here the doctor faces is that they have to ask for MRI scan. Now MRI scan is basically, as you all know, that MRI scan is a 2D image, and the tumor has to be detected by the doctor. Of course, these days there are some artificial techniques coming which is actually making it better detection, but still the tumor needs to be a little bit bigger. So when the tumor grows and making the size bigger, which is observable by the doctor or by any kind of detection system, which is a long process of 3-4 weeks to a month. So what we are trying to do here is that can we actually use the blood samples of the patient to detect whether the tumor is growing. So it's important thing to know what is the biomarker and make our sensor selective to that particular biomarker. So that's what we are doing here, that using the blood. Now blood is easily accessible because when the person has tumor, doctor operates, they collect the blood every day. So we can use the blood samples to know whether that type of particular biomarker is actually growing in the person's blood. That tells us that person is having the tumor. So it can be detected at early stage.
That is what the question was regarding the biomarker, because with tumor detection, ultimately they have to go for microscopic.
Yes, you are not eliminating anything. You are not eliminating anything. So whatever the system exists, they are all happening, but it is coming an extra to help the doctor for this type of system. What we are doing is not replacing anything. We are not replacing, we are not changing anything, all the system exists, but because there are certain problems in this kind of current existing system, you are developing something which actually helping the doctor.
If there are any questions, you can just shoot it to our sir. He's ready to answer everything.
smart cities. So already we have so much of data available, and we are trying to handle it using big data analytical tools and all. So why you want to again generate so much of data of individual? That is my first question. And what about the data securities if you have smartphones and cities?
So you have got two questions. Yeah, you have got two questions. One is that why do we need the sensors? Of course, if you have big data, you do not know that you are actually talking on the Mandya. Your data is coming from maybe Mysore, which is not Mandya, isn't it? So you need to have the data from Mandya to take the actions of the Mandya situation. So you always need the real-time data to address the problem. You get me first question? So if you have data somewhere, will not give you the answer. The data has to come from the place where you want to address the issue. So real-time data is must for doing anything. Second thing is that data security is a real challenge. If you put your data on the cloud, everybody has the right to access the data, even though we say that it will be secure access, but security is something which actually depends on how smart the person is. The person who hacks the data, they are smarter than us. So you cannot prevent them, but what you can do is to make the system much more robust and secure. So there is always a challenge between the hacker and the security designer. Who will win the race? Most of the time we see that someday hackers are winning and the data is exposed. So that's the one happening at the moment. So we live in Australia, where 25 million of people, but 8.5 million people, they actually lost their data because we had a company called Optus, their database was hacked. That's the reality. So we might be able to make the system secure 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and then somebody again will hack. And that's why the security research is much more important now than before, and there are lots of researches going on this area. Anyone has got any other questions or comment? And if you have anything you are not able to ask, you please send me an email with your query. I'll be happy to answer.
I guess we are done with the questions, sir. But I have a simple question, a silly question. So if there's a cricket match between India and Australia, which team will you support?
What do you tell me that?
So will you use engineering techniques like AI and predict the most favorable team to win, or will you go with your emotion?
So the problem is, that this emotion is very important, and I think it's very difficult to hide or not to have the real emotion. So it's sometimes difficult, but I actually go for India. And actually it's very difficult for my son because he was born in New Zealand and he lives in Australia now, and he has got the Indian gene. And actually he has got two types of gene, Indian gene and Sri Lankan gene. So he is pretty confused when these four teams are playing with each other. India, Australia, New Zealand, and Sri Lanka. But if he is with me, he also supports India.
Thank you, sir. Now I get the opportunity to thank Dr. Subhash Chandra Mukhopadhyay, keynote speaker for ICRECT 2022. Thank you, sir, for spending your time with us. I hope your talk made many researchers gain some knowledge and help their research to go for a long run. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for your time.